walking back and forth on a stage and giving me nothing while also simultaneously charging $200, $300, $400 for seats. It has to stop. Hey guys, it's your girl Cameron and I'm back at it again with another video. And today we're going to be doing a social commentary on performance. Lately, I've been thinking about the evolution of performances, the evolution of what we expect from our pop stars, our superstars, our mainstream musicians, and how much that has changed over time. Why is it that 9 times out of 10 men get away with not performing while women are critically judged? Who is that judgment coming from and why? We're gonna get to the bottom of it today. Please like, comment down below. What do you guys think of this topic? Are you a stickler for performances? Do you feel like we're in the gutter? Let me know, let's talk about it. And please hit the subscribe button down below if you would like to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and let's just get straight into the commentary video. I've been making this video over the course of a couple months and kind of ticking off boxes, thinking of performances and things that have been talked about to set this off. And one of the main things was the Frank Ocean Coachella performance. He got a lot of flack for seemingly just walking back and forth on the stage, lip syncing over the track, not much of a production. When you look back and you look at Beachella, he wasn't giving anything. It was giving listening party vibes. And once Twitter got a hold of it, Twitter was in an uproar. It shocked me only because normally men get off scot-free for not giving anything, not giving a show, not giving a performance. And it's usually left to the women to have some sort of performance value. And along with this anecdotal evidence, a lot of male rappers, news has been coming out that their concerts are underselling and they're having to drop ticket prices. And this has sparked a whole conversation on why is this happening? Well, if we look at the facts, a lot of rappers treat their shows like a listening party. Backtrack vocals, no performance value. It's not giving anything worth paying for or seeing. All of this accumulated made me think, So let's talk about what is the criteria of a good performance. I feel like it's important to classify this so we know what lens we're looking at here. I would say good choreography that the artists may or may not partake in. Preferably they do partake in a little 1-2 step. Backup dancers, high energy, right? Working the stage, going from left to right, front to back, maybe in the air, maybe you're pink and you're tumbling in the air. It's getting old. Innovative ideas and sets, great costuming, hair and makeup, right? Great production value. Now, out of all of these, I just want you to take a second, whether you pause the video. Which of these qualities and standards are placed upon women and which are placed upon men? Ding, ding, ding. All of these qualities are prescribed to female artists. Almost none of these qualities are pushed onto male artists as an expectation. Let me add good vocals too. Thank you. Breath control. So why is this? Prior to the 21st century, particularly halfway into the 20th century, so we're talking about the 1950s and 1960s, prior to elaborate stage design, animatronics, green screens, all of this fun stuff, most artists had to rely on their vocal capability, their dancing capabilities, and their stage presence. So i.e., you look at Motown musicians, you watch some of their performances, you know, it's the setup, the 3 singers. It's very simple, very basic, but captivating, right? If you look at old Michael Jackson performances, Jackson 5, The Supremes, James Brown, there's not this huge stage production value, but the performance quality was revered and it was looked at as important. I would like to add a turning point in more production value. I would say Michael Jackson is a good person to look at this because he transformed and evolutionized music videos. But if you ever go back and you look at Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, this was a good marker of how music videos, how production values changed. At the time that came out, that video was like new age, next level technology.
This article from Your Web not only confirms that this was Michael Jackson's first experience creating a music video, but also that the technology at the time was next level. The side-by-side images of Michael Jackson, along with the geometric shapes, were completely innovative and advanced technology for the time.
If you stuck that in today's world, we'd be like, oof, this is bad green screen, CGI, etc., etc., etc. But back in the day, this is when people started to really step up their game, not just the performance quality aspect, but in the stage production, telling a story. In the 20th century, there were a lot of female performers who were captivating in multiple areas, right? You have people like Donna Summers, Whitney Houston, Janet Jackson, Britney Spears, Madonna, Selena Quintanilla, Mariah Carey. Now, you might sit here and say, well, all of them weren't dancing, because we know Mariah's no dancer. But if you've ever seen her in concert, I did when I was 5 for the very first time, there is something captivating. It's worth paying money to see these women perform. Now, there wasn't as much to cover up or elevate a performer or artist that just wasn't talented back in these days. It was harder to mask versus today you have all the extras to enhance a performance with doing little to nothing. So to me, I feel like there's not much of an excuse. Come up with an awesome stage concept, put the money in it, and you could probably just stand there and it looks cool enough. There was huge stock placed in live performances as well back in the 20th century with these artists, because this was almost the only way that fans could engage with an artist in the physical present, right? We didn't have social media where you can YouTube or Google a performance. You had to be there. Because there was no social media as that buffer, artists put on a show because it's like, you know what? These people are paying good dollars. This is maybe the only time that they're ever really gonna see me perform. It's not as accessible, so I'm putting on a show. Now that we've kind of went through a brief history lesson, who is considered amazing in modern day terms? I would say on a global mainstream level, Beyonce is top. Greatest performer right now of our generation. And she's one of the greatest to ever do it, period. Usher. Some would say Chris Brown. Britney Spears, I listed her earlier. Now, those who I have not seen personally that have elevated performance for their genres and are classified performers would be Ciara, Lady Gaga, 150 million %. Adele, for the vocalist category. She would fall in the category of like a Mariah Carey, a Whitney Houston, where they're not going to be breaking down on 1-2s, but you're going to get an amazing, captivating vocal performance, great background vocals, isolated vocals. It's going to be a little pretty show. Normani's up there. Chloe Bailey, although she's heavily criticized, I think she's doing a lot more than her peers. Victoria Monet, let me say it one time again for the VAC. Victoria Monet, an amazing, excellent performer, probably top of her peers right now. Just polished perfection, everything, live vocals, dancing. Doja Cat, surprisingly, Lotto has been recently working with Tiana Taylor, and her Coachella performance blew me away. Another person who has elevated performance in their genre is Offset, and we'll talk about him a little more later. Now, out of this long-ass list, majority were women. So I know we're talking about the men today, but while we are talking about performers, what's acceptable and what's not, I want to talk about the curious case of Ice Spice. A couple months ago, Ice Spice performed at a Coachella Revolt event for influencers, and it went viral for being lackluster, along with her other countless festival performances. And recently she was dogged for her exclusive performance of Princess Diana, and quite honestly, it was a snooze fest. Social media did roast the performance, which I think was deserved, but I also couldn't help but wonder why anytime a poor performance of a female rapper is done, it's met with scrutiny. While there's at least 100 other male performers that are giving us nothing. I'm telling you, Frank Ocean was the only male I have seen properly called out in a major scale, and I don't know how long, for a lackluster performance. Why is there this standard held? And maybe it's the audiences these artists hold, right? To be fair, I think a lot of people critiquing these performances are the ones really tuned in, and those people tuned in are probably the girls and gays. And I don't think it's a lot of straight men putting huge stock into great performances. But that doesn't mean that they don't chime in. I think we are to hold some sort of responsibility. Like, for instance, a Chloe Bailey, who has had numerous performances. I have commented on some of her performance. I felt like some of it was a little too much, but it's like we're upset with the people who do the most. It's still a problem. So I acknowledge, I think it does have to do with audience. I don't think a rap audience is expecting their favorite rapper to get up there and do a 1-2 step, but I'm just speaking on performance culture as a whole. And people are paying big bucks for concerts, but are getting hardly anything in return. And let's face it, is it even a requirement for artists to be a good performer these days? No, it's not. So it's like, is this video null and void? Maybe, but I'm always going to stick up and pull for the performers, baby. We are responsible for making some of these folks famous who have mediocre talent, but fun bops. And then we automatically expect them to be top-notch ace performers. And we probably should have just gatekept in the first place, right? If we cared enough. So it's really hard to make these folks popular when we already know their music is subpar. And then we're sitting here shouting at you like, you're giving us nothing. Well, I wonder why. However, women have always been placed as objects of eye candy, displaying itself in costumes, makeup, elaborate hair. Female artists have to almost look perfect, especially rap artists, right? The sexualized image. When we allow male artists to come as they are, right? The popular ones can be glitzed out, but can also be scruffy and regular. Look at Post Malone, look at a J. Cole, look at a Kendrick Lamar. Female artists aren't always afforded that luxury to just come as they are, to just be who they are and not have to do the glitz and the glamour or to do the most. I think women, we've been placed in this market where we're expected to be tip-top shape, up to par. You have to be perfect, 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 perfect. So in turn, we expect so much from our female artists while expecting little to nothing from our male artists. You know, I'm sitting here complaining about male performers, but I want to highlight somebody who I think is a good blueprint, who is doing it right and who cares about their craft. Offset. Let's talk about the curious case of Offset. A couple weeks ago on my Twitter timeline, a performance of Offset from the BET Awards in 2019 went viral for his song with Cardi B, Clout. He was praised with someone saying, this is his Motown 25. He had stage presence, backup dancers, and he even partook in choreography himself.
I'm not gonna bite on the bait. Sipping on toxic waste. On the low with your bitch in this grave. Mask on her face.
And to be quite honest, we were shocked, okay? He has the potential to be a star. I know he has a performing arts background to some degree, and he is a dancer. But for a rapper to be getting up on stage and giving it, I like to see it. And it caused more people to ask, why don't we get more of this? And why hasn't he truly done this again? Well, news for us, he did a interview with Angela Yee, All the Way Up. And he was talking about how he feels very strongly about performances and that really in his genre, he's the only guy putting on like that.
And I feel like people's attention span is just shorter now too. Mm-hmm. Like, so when you on stage and you just standing there like, I don't care if you got the biggest songs in the world.
Yeah, I've
After
seen
a while,
that
it's gonna die. After a while, like people gonna get tired of it. I don't give a damn what nobody say, because at the end of the day, like I'm entertaining and like I'm doing something you can't do. And I seen it a long time ago when we did the BET Awards. Mm-hmm. I think it was 2018. And then when I was like, I ain't finna do that, bro. Then I was like, I ain't finna show these folks that, cause. But then when I did it, like the response, like to this day, is still one of my most viewed things.
Absolutely, because people don't do that.
People don't do it, and I just feel like at the end of the day, like I ain't got nothing to prove. I ain't trying to be cool with like, I'm trying to entertain people.
So Offset knows this. I know he has an album dropping, so we will see. But I really wish people would take note. I think a lot of males feel that performing is feminine to some degree. But it doesn't have to be, right? You can add your own swag. But this whole walking back and forth on a stage and giving me nothing while also simultaneously charging $200, $300, $400 for seats, it has to stop. And I think I'm happy that more and more people are starting to talk about this. So to wrap this video up, I'm requesting that the guys step it up in the performance category. So let's take it up a notch. Ladies, I think you guys have held down the fort for like the 21st century majority. But I think in general, we complain about performance value, but we also need to look at who we're making famous. We also need to look at who we are expecting certain things from. People blow up at the speed of lightning now. So how are we expecting for them to be polished professionals when they never have done this before? And we're responsible for giving them the platform. So there's a lot of things to take into consideration. But for recording artists, those of us who are still paying for your tickets, be considerate to your fans and consider putting on a good show. That is what gives your music life, right? It's the visuals, it's the performance, it's taking a song and putting it into the physical realm. That's my biggest request. Let's just get this shit together, please. And thank you. Like, comment down below. What did you guys think of this video? And please hit that subscribe button if you would like to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.